Welcome back to GCTV and welcome to a bonus episode of The Insider for you. And we are making this episode of The Insider free on your GCTV Access Pass, so it is available for everyone. Now that we have a break in events from Monaco all the way up to London in a couple of weeks' time, we decided to fill the gap, fill you in, give you some statistics on how the opening 10 stages of the season has played out thus far. I'm not alone, as always. I certainly don't do the maths. I don't do the numbers. That's why I have you and your phone on the side that you cheat with and do the calculations. Frederick de Backer, this is a perfect window for us to identify some topics, do some numbers, because it's been a heavy couple of weeks. We've done, what, 7 stages in the last 8 weeks?
8 weeks, yeah.
Chance for us to catch our breath, for you to catch your breath. It's been a really good summer, though, first, right? Shall we start there?
So far, so good. It has been a great season so far. The season has had a bit of everything. It showed us some disappointments in the performances of Scandinavian Vikings, mostly. Paris Panthers have been a big talking point. But on the other hand, it also showed us the positive surprises. Let's talk about Hamburg Giants in the beginning of the season, the continuity, the consistency of Madrid in motion. Yeah, there's been a bit of everything, and for a lot of people to engage with. I think whether you're a fan or not, there's something with every team. Yeah,
a lot to stand out. So what we decided to do today is identify a range of topics to try and unpack for you, including teams, riders, horses, and under 25 riders. And we'll have some numbers to support that theory. Let's start the conversation with the best team. Now, no surprises. This is not simply based on the overall standings, and we'll get to that later. But Frederick will help us understand how and why Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, do find themselves as the team of the season. There's no denying that the championship favourites, but let's talk about the numbers that they have produced to put themselves in that position. What makes Stockholm Hearts stand out after these 10 stages now, other than points haul at the end of the column?
It starts, of course, with their clear rounds. We've jumped 40 rounds, and they've produced 23 clears. So they've got a clear round average of above 50%. There's only one team that is a little bit in their zone, but their clear round percentage of 57.5 is nearly 58, is really high. And that is what makes them stand out. Even when they have faults somewhere, they just produce so many clear rounds. You know that when Stockholm Hearts go in, at least they will produce 2 clear rounds per stage.
What I like about this is almost Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi situation, where you almost know goals will come before the game starts. You can bank on that. You can now bank based on statistics. This is not emotion. The numbers tell us that Stockholm Hearts will produce a clear, at least, at the start of every single competition. That must give them such confidence, such relief, knowing that the numbers tell us that this is the kind of form that they find themselves in all season.
Yeah, not 2 clears, at least. Actually, 2 points and a little bit. That's the funny thing. So at least 2 clears. The bizarre thing is, you can expect the same thing, not from Stockholm Hearts powered by H&M, but from Madrid in motion. They also have produced a 50% clear round rate. They've exactly 50%, actually. 20 clears from them out of their 40 rounds. And if you think back about Monaco, our last stage, it was a bad weekend for Father Eric van der Vleuten. But again, it was Michael who put in 2 clears. So again, that lives up to the statistics of 2 clears per stage, and that's really impressive stuff from Madrid.
Before we talk about the teams around them, can I go back to Stockholm Hearts for a second and ask about that odd number of 40? Because again, that really high number of 40 stands out for Stockholm Hearts, and that really has not hurt their season, has hurt their season. Can you explain how that hasn't affected them more?
I'm sorry, I was completely confused, and I thought that you were talking about the 40 rounds, but so their highest team score of the season. Penalties, when a team comes out of the ring after round 2, is 40.
Strange that for a championship-leading team to have as bad a day at the office like that, correct?
So they had that one really, really bad round that every team is entitled to. Every team has one blip at the season, as we always say. But it's bizarre because if you look at the other 4 teams on that graphic, it's 26, the highest score for Berlin Eagles. That was after Hamburg. It was 29 for Prague Lions and 26 for Madrid in motion. So that's a huge spread, actually. It's a huge gap between having 40 penalties as your highest team score or just 26.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for Stockholm Hearts, and that shows the consistency of the team, it was the one single blip. For the rest, it was all clears.
All right, so how do the rest of the teams then around the Stockholm Hearts, what numbers really stand out? Who is, as you said, Madrid in motion now? Who else is coming close? Who else is trying to come in that ballpark of Stockholm Hearts?
Well, obviously, it's Berlin Eagles. That sits second on the championship table. And the remarkable difference between the Eagles and the Hearts is the number of horses that they use. Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, have listed 14 horses on their starting orders. With Berlin Eagles, that is just 9. Only 9 horses, 9 different horses over 5 different riders. But Philipp Schulze-Tophoff hasn't competed much on the team due to his several injuries. So it's mainly the 4 Riesenbeck riders. And between the 5 riders that have actually competed, only 9 different horses. And that is a very remarkable statistic, especially if you know that Philipp Weishaupt has just come in to Monaco with a new horse. Otherwise, it would have been just 8, which is nearly half of the number of horses of Stockholm Hearts. So those are the 2 top teams on the championship, and they've used a completely different strategy in terms of using horses and their changes.
Can we talk about how there is a strange similarity developing between where Volkswagen United found themselves in 2021